Seth Klarman is an American investor and a hedge fund manager. His US portfolio is currently worth over $5.5 billion, and his fund has generated an annual average return of 15% over the past 40 years. His investment philosophy is a long-term, risk-averse approach, and he emphasizes the importance of maintaining a margin of safety in every investment decision. He is actually an author of the book Margin of Safety: Risk-Averse Value Investing Strategies for the Thoughtful Investor. That is a short and catchy title. So today we will see what stocks he invests in, what changes he made to his portfolio recently, and we will go through the history of his biggest investments to hopefully understand his way of investing and learn along the way. So let's start with his portfolio. He owns 29 stocks, but let's concentrate on the 7 biggest investments, the ones that make up 5 or more % of his portfolio. First up is Liberty Global, then Alphabet, Viasat, Qorvo, Veritiv, Liberty SiriusXM Group, Warner Bros. Discovery, and other smaller investments. And what meaningful changes did he make to his portfolio in Q1 2023? He sold 100% of his investment in Amazon, Micron Technology, and Meta Platforms. And that was a big change, because if we combine those 3 companies, they made up 7.7% of his portfolio. Other meaningful reductions were Pfizer Incorporated. He sold over 73% of his investment, which was almost 3% of his portfolio. He sold around 33% of his investment in Willis Towers Watson, 18.8% in Qorvo, and 18.6% of Warner Bros. Discovery. Those changes were all close to 2% of his portfolio each. He also bought 3 new companies. Seagate Technology, but that is just a small investment of 0.1% of his portfolio. Jazz Pharmaceuticals, which makes up 1.2% of his portfolio, and Skyworks Solutions, 1.5%. And he added in a substantial way to 2 of his investments. One was Alphabet, where he added 46.5%, and the other one was Fidelity National Information Services, where he added 124%. Okay, so now let's go through the history of his biggest investments. Let's start with Warner Bros. Discovery. It makes up 6.81% of his portfolio, and like I mentioned before, in Q1 2023 he reduced his position by 18.6%. Warner Bros. Discovery was formed after the spin-off of Warner Media by AT&T and its merger with Discovery in April 2022. So Seth Klarman is in this investment from the very beginning. And it seems like a very typical value play, where he's buying when the price is going down, and when the price rises and he can make some profit, he starts to sell. But because this is a very early investment, we can't really know where this is going. Will he keep it for a long term, or is it just a short-term play based on the spin-off from AT&T? Next up is Liberty SiriusXM Group. It makes up 7.43% of his portfolio, and in the last quarter he added 8.79% to his position. Liberty SiriusXM Group is a part of Liberty Media, and it has grown to be the largest audio entertainment company in North America. It also purchased a streaming music service called Pandora and Live Nation that promotes, operates, and manages ticket sales for live entertainment in the United States and internationally. So, Seth Klarman bought his first shares in Q1 2020, just next quarter, he sold around 85% of that, and then just next quarter, he added over 3,000%. So it seems he wasn't sure what to do with this investment at first, but then decided to make it a substantial part of his portfolio, and he's basically buying ever since. We can see that he is buying when the price is going up, and he's buying even more right now when the price fell to under $30. So a lot of conviction in this investment. Veritiv Corporation. It makes up 8.03% of his portfolio, and in the last quarter he didn't make any changes to this position. Veritiv Corporation is a business-to-business provider of packaging, publishing, and hygiene products. It has 125 operating distribution centers throughout the United States, Canada, and Mexico. He bought his first shares in Q3 2014 for around $50. And what is very interesting in the case of this investment is how confident he is with it. When the price went to under $8, he just kept the shares, and he was in the red for a number of years. But eventually the price got to over $100, and then he sold some of the shares. It's going to be interesting to see what he will do next. Will he sell and cash the profit, or will he continue to keep the shares of the company? Qorvo Incorporated. It makes up 8.44% of his portfolio, and in Q1 2023 he reduced his investment by 18.88%. Qorvo is an American semiconductor company that designs, manufactures, and supplies radio frequency systems for wireless and broadband communications. He bought his first shares in Q1 2017, and he was adding till Q4 2017. And then around 2019 he sold a lot of shares. And he probably didn't lose any money, but he also didn't make this investment really work. But what is really strange is when you look at it when we get to 2021, and we see that he started to buy shares regardless of the price. And now that the price is back down again, he's starting to sell. It seems like he's maybe not losing money, but over the years, this investment is not really working for him. Next up is Viasat Incorporated. It makes up 9.86% of his portfolio, and in the last quarter, he didn't make any changes to his investment. Viasat is a provider of high-speed satellite broadband services and secure networking systems covering military and commercial markets. This is yet another investment that we see that he is buying basically regardless of the price. He started to buy when the price was around $20, and he continued to buy when it was around $45 or even more. And then in Q1 2020, the price fell substantially and he bought a lot of shares yet again. And now that the price is very low, he's just keeping them without investing any extra money into this company. So it's going to be very interesting to see, will it be another story like Veritiv where he holds the shares for a few years even though they're substantially down, and eventually when they go up he starts to sell. Alphabet. It makes up 10.88% of his portfolio, and he added 46.5% to his investment. Alphabet is of course the parent company for Google. This is a fairly new investment for Seth Klarman. He bought his first shares of Alphabet in Q1 2020. The price went up and he gradually sold most of them. And then it seems like he changed his thesis about the company. And in Q1 2021, he bought almost all of those shares back. And when the price went up, he sold a bit. But when the price kept on falling, he was still selling. And now, for the last 2 quarters, he's just buying a lot of shares. So he probably made some decent money on this investment. But what is interesting is that we don't see this long-term conviction that we can observe in some of his other investments. It seems like he's trying to benefit from the swings of the market more than in case of some other companies. And his biggest position is Liberty Global. It makes up 17.31% of his portfolio, and we saw no change to this position in the last quarter. Liberty Global is a British, Dutch, American multinational telecommunication company. Some of its subsidiaries are Virgin Media, Telenet or UPC. He bought his first shares in Q3 2018 and he kept on adding till around Q1 2020. Then we see the pattern we already know. The price went down and he just kept the shares without making any movements. And when the price was around $25, he sold a small portion of his investment. And now that the price is down, he is just keeping the shares. He's not investing anymore into this company, which may be understandable because it is already over 17.3% of his portfolio. And as we know, he has 29 companies in the portfolio. So he's fairly well diversified and he probably wants to keep it that way. So after looking at those investments, what can we say about his investment style? Well, he is very patient and has a lot of conviction in his big bets. Even when he is in the red for a number of years, he sticks with his investments. His portfolio has a lot of stocks that have something to do with modern media, internet and technology. But for the most part, he's staying away from the big household names, but instead focuses on companies that work in the background and that are essential for the entertainment and information systems to work. He is well diversified with 29 companies, but when he sees an opportunity, he invests big. His top 5 holdings make up 54.5% of his portfolio. And if you want to see Thomas Russo's portfolio, then click here. Or if you're more interested in Bill Ackman's portfolio, click here. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.